Northern Gateway pipeline. What do you mean by that? Where are the lies? Where's the fear? Where's the misinformation?
Well, I think it's from the very beginning, the information that's been put forward by the opponents to many of the energy projects, not just the Northern Gateway pipeline project, many of the pipeline projects, or many of the energy data extraction projects are misleading. Many of their criticisms, their concerns, the information that they portray, the outcomes that they're going to have what happens to them. I think we've heard from speakers this morning that suggest that no fact should never taken into account, and there's rarely an opportunity for people to really set the record straight in many of these instances.
Is there a sense of frustration amongst people in this room that in particular the Northern Gateway pipeline has been bogged down in this kind of rhetoric?
I think the group was very frustrated. The business community is exceptionally frustrated by a number of different factors. It's the opponents, it's the lack of government action involved both at the federal and provincial level, even at the local level. Across the north, the communities that stand to benefit directly from this kind of investment and job creation are not standing up and taking account and being heard. And that's a very frustrating thing for many of us. All we're really trying to do is invest in our communities, create jobs, and grow the economic life of Canadians.
What's your sense about whether the Northern Gateway is ever going to be built?
It's going to be a heavy slog. There's no two ways about that. There are a lot of opposition mounting in cases, good cases against it. We're trying very hard today to put forward some perspectives that deal with transportation issues, that deal with the integrity of pipelines, a number of environmental concerns that are being raised. I find them quite persuasive, but it's really up to people like the media to sometimes take the proactive perspective and come forward with some of these commentaries.
You could argue it could be people like Enbridge do a better job selling their own project.
Yeah, I'm not an advocate for Enbridge. I'm not here to tout their virtues. I'm really here to say that BC and Canada in general has the opportunity to be energy leaders, to be manufacturing leaders, to be a number of things that are economic drivers to provide Canadians with a high standard of living. Whether it's Enbridge pipelines or whether it's Kinder Morgan pipelines or whether it's wheatfields in Alberta, I don't think it really matters. What we really need to do is make sure that Canadians have the opportunity to develop what is theirs.
What's your sense of how the Premier has handled this?
Well, I think the concern, the way the Premier's handled it, has been confrontational. I think we've heard this morning from the Canada West Foundation that the success in Western Canada of late has been the ability for the three Western provinces in particular to work together on trade-related issues and industrial issues, to work in their own best interest. The federal government's investment in infrastructure to do with the Gateway project itself. The Western premiers were the ones that suggested that the bulk of that investment be in British Columbia and the benefit of Western Canadians and all Canadians in general. Today we're not seeing that kind of collaboration. It's a little antagonistic, it's a little acrimonious in some respects. I don't think that the Premier of British Columbia is really talking to the right people about the right thing. I think that there are issues in Ottawa that she should be addressing the concerns about revenue sharing and about some of the issues affecting the pipeline. Alberta's course of action is very clear, and it's covered by the Constitution.
What would you say to people, some of whom may end up looking at this meeting and say, well, it's all a bunch of people who believe in the same thing. They don't get it. That there is a risk in this pipeline, and it's a risk that some people just aren't convinced this province should be willing to take, including apparently the Premier. What do you say to this?
Well, I guess we have to point out some of the realities of what risk really is. We take risks every day in our lives. Getting out of bed is a risk for some of us. Going across the street, what risk are we prepared to take? What risk are we prepared to engender in our lives? It's a decision we all have to make, but you can't make that decision in the absence of information. The pilots who will take these tankers out the Douglas Strait, to be a captain of those ships takes 10 years of training. Well, it doesn't take 10 years to become a pilot of an aircraft. So we have to look at some of these things, the standards that exist in these sectors, and say, there are people who are working very hard to make these things work for us. There are people who are working very hard to try and work with governments to make sure that regulatory environments are appropriate, that they contribute to safety, they're not just there for publication purposes, and that they have the integrity of British Columbians and Canadians.
I'm wondering, what are the risks if these proposals don't go through, if you don't carry the day and if the opponents are infected?
Well, the risks, I guess, depends on what the outcome elsewhere is. If the Keystone Pipeline, for example, becomes a reality, it looks like it will, that will mean that Canadian oil will continue to be sold to one market at a significantly discounted price, and Canadians ultimately will be the losers. And while there will be some gains from the shipment through the pipeline, the value we get back for it, the ability for our governments to invest in infrastructure, to healthcare, schools, and all the things that we value so much won't be there for us to enjoy. So what is the downstream benefit? It won't be to our best interest if something like this is turned down. Both pipelines are very important to our integrity, our economic integrity, and the fact that we're not really doing anything that's terribly new, we're really only moving forward on a front that is greatly advanced from a technological safety perspective, that we're dealing with shipping and navigational skills that are far greater than anything that SS Valdez ever encountered in its day. I suspect Canadians need to know these things, and they need to understand that these are the choices they can make